Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I love every time we get together with her because we learn so much. And this is stuff that's been around for so many years in terms of herbal remedies. Instead of going to your local pharmacy and grabbing something off the shelf, ingesting or putting chemicals on your body, which invariably will go into your body, how about a more holistic route? And she is a master herbalist and the owner of Oyate Herbals. Tammie Lowell is back with us. Tammie, welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing good, doing really good. I'm glad to be here again.
I just heard, and we're getting into season here. Summer's closing in very fast. You also make a sunscreen that is all natural, which I didn't know until just now.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. All natural, organic, chemical free. So, we had kind of talked in our past in our podcasts about how we absorb 60% of whatever we put in on our skin into the bloodstream. And sunscreens are notorious for causing just skin cancer in general. And all those chemicals that absorb into your bloodstream is just damaging all kinds of stuff. So
I totally believe it. It's funny. My daughter is 15 and she got it from a friend, some kind of moisturizer, and she was liking it. And I looked at it and she goes, "Yeah, you should try it." So I did. And I've been more mindful of, stuff I put on my skin and face. I have minor skin cancer over the years and everything. Looking at the packaging, and it was dark in the room, so I didn't really read it, but I'm like, "Yeah, why don't I put a little here, a little moisturizer here, it's a little dry, spot there." The next day, I could notice that it just, my skin, and it just looked slightly irritated after one application. And I even told her, I'm like, that stuff didn't work for me. And now, I just use this serum oil with some couple of drops of different essential oils. And I find what a big difference, even over a moisturizer off the shelf at a pharmacy that I was using for years. I notice such a huge difference. And yeah, this is not your stuff. This is me just kind of making something. I'm not the expert. But this stuff that's out there is loaded with chemicals.
Yeah, but at least you're cognitive of what you are. You're educated and you're getting out there and you're really paying attention. So that way, even if it's not my stuff, granted, of course, I love your support and everything. And, but anybody needs to get that stuff and really research it and make sure that you are putting good stuff on your body, just to kind of integrate on. Sunscreens, like we said, we talked about it, are so bad for you. People don't realize, well, one, right out the door, people can stop thinking that a 50 SPF is going to be better than a 30, because that's not factual. Okay. I use actual oils because there are a lot of natural sunscreens out there. Coconut oil, for example, has about a 5. It'll give you about a 5 SPF. It's got a naturally. Carrot seed oil, rabbit, that was good, raspberry, raspberry seed oil. Also, they say that it can be up to a 50. Well, realistically, 30 is about all we're going to get in anything, no matter if it's chemicals or if it's natural. 30 is about all. And that's really all you really need, because we need to be able to also absorb that vitamin D and the natural things that's coming from the sun that we need. You just don't, you just want to block the UVB and the UV rays that are going to cause the skin cancers and things like that. Not to mention, I don't want to be sunburnt. I'm Native American, so of course, I get this nice little pretty red skin and then I turn brown the next day. But not everybody is like me. So I also use a very organic zinc oxide, which is a non-nano, so it doesn't absorb into the blood. And things like that. It took me 2 years to develop this because, remember, and back in the 80s, you had the white nose with the lifeguard. Well, that was a zinc oxide type of a thing. Well, this won't turn you white, but it still has enough to really help protect, let the good rays in, keep the bad rays out. Plus, if you did already get sunburnt, the raspberry seed and the jojoba that I use and everything is so nourishing for the skin. It'll also help with the pre-burn, so that way you can go ahead, because you put sunscreen on a burn, you burn worse. This you won't. You can actually put it on over already burnt skin, and then it will actually moisturize to and then protect you at the same time. So
do I have it right with the SPF that the higher the number doesn't mean that it's more protection, more shade? It just means that you can stay in the sun a little bit longer.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So that's why I tell people, they talk about sunblock, sunshade, and it's funny because you actually have to, all of these have to be fed. The all sunscreens are federally regulated. The FDA actually, keeps a track on these. Well, I wonder why. The high chemicals that are inside of them. So they have to be regulated. Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's so amazing, the perception when you buy sunscreen. It's like, there's my protection right there. This is going to be great. Let me take that. It's all chemicals. It's you think it's so good for you because it's protecting you, but it's completely the opposite of what you're putting on your body.
Absolutely. You're absolutely defeating your purpose. One of the reasons why I developed this is my daughter-in-law's mom's sister. So if I get that right, she actually developed sunscreen or developed skin cancer from sunscreen, using sunscreen.
I've never
And
heard
she had it so bad that she couldn't even get outside for very long because the rays just literally, because she went through all the chemo, she did all that. And she wished she wouldn't have, but at that point in time, she didn't know me. She didn't know anything about it. So I developed this for Susan. So that way she could go outside. She loved to garden. And so that's what pushed me into doing this many, many years ago. She was my muse, you could say, to go, I wanted to do it, but she was my real push to get it out there. And she's back out gardening. She's got to wear a hat and stuff, but otherwise she's out gardening and she can use this. I've seen this, like I said, it's safe for babies and kids, and you put it on their head, you can put it anywhere, and just avoid eye contact. It's not waterproof, of course. I mean, that the waterproof of anything like that is going to be because of chemicals to keep it from coming off, but it's great. I mean, you got to reapply every 4 hours anyway on most sunscreens, and this is the same way. So
is it? And by the way, full disclosure, it was exactly a year ago. I was just healing from radiation for skin cancer right here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, it all healed up. It feels like baby skin, so it's gotta get your stuff on here because it's like fresh skin. Still waiting for the facial hair to grow back and such. But my fault. And I dealt with it over the years. Basal cell, here, take a piece here. This was under a beard, and I was like, it's getting bad. Yeah, I'll deal with that, and I just let it go to the point where when I was dealing with it, surgery would be way too invasive, and it's not a lot, and it's on the face. So I opted for that route. And actually, my daughter works at a radiation place, and she says, Dad, you can have that done for skin cancer. I didn't even know. But back to the sunscreen. Yeah, I used it over the years. Maybe it's like the relative that you're mentioning. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. I wonder. So two questions here. How do you know when you make it naturally that you truly have, an SPF 30 or whatever it is? And second question, I wonder, to make it so it's more waterproof, it's oil, right? And oil repels water. Is there any way that, why can't you do that with the stuff that you make?
Well, I probably could. It's just a matter of the time and the research to be able to do it. That R&D, research and development, So it's fairly waterproof, but it's not one of those where you go dipping in a pool for 2 hours. You want to get out and put something back on, but realistically, it's the same thing that you're getting with regular sunscreens. They claim it, and it may last a little longer, in the sun. In the water. The water is going to magnify it anyway. But yeah, being oil, but oil will eventually end up coming off your skin.
Sure.
The nice thing is about being in jojoba oil is at least it's very close to our natural sebum. So that way it absorbs very nicely and it stays on longer. So that was my trick there. I mean, I use jojoba oil in the base of all my lotions. So every bit of my lotions have jojoba oil. I use very little coconut, just enough to give it some moisturizer. But it also with the vitamin E's and the shea butters and things like that. And that's all also a little bit of that is in there, not enough, not a lot that would really be like over moisturizing like some of my other lotions are, because some people just need more moisturizing.
I love the fact that you are so specific about what you put in, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you test it. And to your point about waterproof, you're in the ocean, the pool or whatever, you have a float, you have a kid, it's going to wipe off anyway.
Yeah, it is. It is. So, I mean, realistically, why not go the natural route and put it on a couple more times, make sure that you're not absorbing all of those chemicals into your body, especially the kids, setting your kids up for all of these possible diseases. I look at all the chemicals, I think, and this is purely speculation on my part. I have talked with other people in my field, nutritionists, different holistic doctors and things like that. But we really feel that the chemicals in our foods, in our topicals or whatever, that's the reason why young ladies are starting their menses cycles at 9 or 10 years old and they're developing and everything like that. It's because of these chemicals that's being absorbed into the body. We find a lot of, the kids with ADD, ADHD, learning disabilities, overactive anger disorders. We didn't have these kind of things back then. Now, why do we have them now? And it's those chemicals, it's it's the drugs, it's all of that stuff that our bodies don't know what to do with. So what's happened, it literally is a mutation that goes on, and then we pass it on to our children and our grandchildren.
Yeah, it's like, you watch The Simpsons and there's a three-eyed fish, the same kind of thing where there's stuff that's in the water. Or so many people talk about the growth hormones in milk. When
right.
Kid was a baby, it's like, yeah, give milk, as they grow up, give them milk. Well, what are you actually giving them? Unless you're specifically buying dairy products that say no, blah, 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 growth hormones given to cows or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
How do you, and I've got one of my favorite is the stress relief aromatherapy spray.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody, I'm like, what is that? What kind is that? Smells great. And, everything is natural here. When you put the essential oils in it, and I want to go back to that, what are we talking in terms of purity?
Oh, they're 100% pure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the oil that's in it is 100% pure. There's a lot of stuff on the market that they're starting to, I want to say, kind of dumb down. They'll take it and then they'll like I said, dumb it down in with like coconut oils or things like that. The oils I use are made by an indigenous family-owned and operated company out of Maine. They make all the oils. They do everything organically. They have organic growers, organic farms, and that is pure oil. So once that is all diluted. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that. It's a distillation process where you have it and it comes through the little tubes and it drops down in. It's a very long process, but that once it comes through, that's that pure oil, and it is 100% pure. Now, I argue with a lot of people. You hear therapeutic grade. Really, therapeutic grade is a term that I won't name names, that a couple of different essential oil companies grabbed onto because it sounded great and everything, and they used it to market their stuff. So you want to look for organic, you want to look for pure, and that purity, if they don't put pure, they don't put that it's organic or, chemical free, then you're getting something that's been dumbed down with different other oils, and you're not getting the purity out of it.
And certified organic and therapeutic grade really sounds good, doesn't it?
It does, don't it?
Yeah, that's a good one. The marketers on that, you get a check mark.
Oh yeah, yep, absolutely. But really, therapeutic, it's a fancy term that they can throw on there when really when you measure that, there is no, in herbology, there is no measurement of therapeutic grade. You've got organic, you've got certified organic, and you have pure. Yeah, chemical free.
What is it? Therapeutic grade sounds fantastic. What does it even
Right.
mean? What does it mean?
Yeah.
Nothing.
It doesn't mean anything. It literally doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
when there's an old bit from the comedian George Carlin that talks about marketing terms and all of that. And one of them is, they used to say chocolatey goodness. Chocolatey
Right.
goodness. Doesn't mean there's any chocolate in it, home style.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's homemade. Makes you think it is, but it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Therapeutic
Yeah.
herb. Uh,
Yeah.
I have your Palo Santo, and it comes from a
Yeah.
wood, obviously. The tree. It's a tree, right?
Yes. Yep. Hmm.
Uh, how do you extract? How is the oil extracted for this? Because I got to tell you, it smells so good. And I mentioned this to you before, and this is why I bought it. I had it looks like an aerosol can that I bought from one of those Bath and Body stores. And
Right.
I have to believe it's really not true Palo Santo. It smells sort of like it.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, this smells better than that.
Yeah.
And this is the real deal.
That's the real deal. Well, and they call it holy wood or hoe wood, and it is a wood. It's and it's done the same way as any other herb. When you're doing those essential oils, and I can kind of give you a visual. You have all of that herb or bark or root or whatever you're going to distill from, and then it goes through that distillation process, and it goes through these little tubes and these things, and it drips down, and it's a very slow process. But what it's doing is it's extracting all of that goodness that's out of there. It takes all of it and puts it into this little concentrated oil. And that's the best. I mean, I could sit here for hours explaining the whole process, but that's it kind of in a nutshell.
When we look at, I'm just going to pick anything here. The stress relief aromatherapy, there's bergamot,
Mm-hmm.
something else I can't pronounce, ginseng,
It's pronounced ylang-ylang.
never going to happen. Uh, how much, like bergamot, how many drops of that oil is in a bottle like this?
4 to 6. That's it.
Wow. And then same
Yeah,
thing.
very little. Yeah, there's about 4 to 6 of each of those. And the last ingredient in that, I know you avoided, it's called vetiver.
I did.
Yeah, I know you did. Yeah, vetiver is amazing for kids. That actually comes in a lotion too. And a lot of the kids in the county I live in that struggle with focusing in school and everything, that have ADD, ADHD, that vetiver is amazing for that. It really helps them to kind of stay calm. It takes that frustration level down, but yet the bergamot is a citrus, and citrus wakes the brain up, so that way you can focus a little bit better. And the ylang ylang, it does kind of the same thing. It also helps rebalance. So what we're doing with that's why it's so good for stress, is because the vetiver brings you down, but yet the bergamot and the lang lang helps the brain to refocus, so that way you're more alert, but yet everything is calming yourself down. So I have a lot of the kids use it, and with the sprays, we just spray, but on the lotions, you rub it on your pulse points, so it kind of lasts a little longer. My grandson, who's 15, carried it all throughout his elementary school and junior high
Mm,
days, and then he didn't need it anymore. So it really did do wonders for him.
amazing. I will say, in terms of the calming effect, and it's just something that this is a personal thing. There's another spray. I think it's an anti-anxiety spray I have of yours. I'm trying to think of which one it is. Uh,
Walk and balance.
yes, it's in my car.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
when I spray it, it reminds me of the fragrance that somebody I know uses. And that we were kind of closely connected. Now we're just like friends.
Right.
But I would always feel calm around her. And I swear it's what she was, it was that. And every time I spray it, I think of her. Like, yeah, I don't know what she was wearing. And I forget to ask her every time I talk with her, but there's something there. Whatever it is, it's a calming effect. And maybe she's wearing something similar to what's in the walk and balance.
It very well could be, because there's sage, frankincense, and wisteria is the blend that you're talking about. And those are found in a lot of different things. So it could be very possible. You're not the first person that has told me that. I don't know what it is about that blend. I actually had a dream about that one and got up and made it. It was crazy. I dreamt it, this combination of, it's like, wow, because I'd always talk about sage and frankincense, but I didn't know what else I wanted to put with it. And I dreamt about it. I'm like, no, it's got to be wisteria. Okay. So I get up and I make it, and it has been a blessing. I have so many different women that have nicknamed that so many other different things than Walk in Balance. I have ER nurses and corporate people that are, really in the mainstream, stressors and everything. It's been called Demon Be Gone spray.
Love it. Yeah.
And that's a big one. People will walk up to me at shows and go, I got to get that Demon Be Gone spray. I'm like, okay, to me, it's Walk in Balance, because it literally just helps you just rebalance. And it just puts you in a better mood. And yeah, I carry one in my car with me as well.
I want to take it out of my car, but I don't do it because I just love using it in the car. And my daughter's with me in the car, and I'll be like, right, hold on. And she's got some anxiety from time to time. It's like, hold on, I just spray it off. Do want to share with you while we're talking about essential oil. So I have two cats. One's barely a year old. The other one's maybe like 6 months old, both rescues. And they would be scratching up stuff. And I bought this stuff at the pet store that's to prevent them from or repel them from scratching. And I'm like, it's not really working. So, it's not really working. And I look, and it's basically essential oils. And then I look online, and there's recipes for the same exact thing. So I took the bottle of the stuff I bought, poured half of it out, and then just added my own essential oils based on the ones that they suggested online, but amped it up. Just,
right.
Instead of 4 drops, I did, instead of 2, I do 4, just really kicked it up. And now it's working. And I wish I had done that, beforehand.
Right.
Paid for this stuff that really didn't work because it probably didn't have enough of the oils in it. But things that,
they weren't pure. They weren't strong enough. Because like I said, the purity makes a huge difference. If it was dumbed down, then, oh yeah, it has it in there. That's just like somebody says, on a label of organic, they don't have to, oh yeah, it contains organic ingredients. One thing does not mean there could be chemicals and everything else, but as long as they put one organic ingredient, nobody says anything. And they're like, oh, I've got organic, I've got pure. Watch how you read it, watch how it's labeled, because they're good at it.
And even that one organic ingredient could be the last one and doesn't even need to be in there. They're just throwing it in there.
Yeah, they're throwing it so they can sell it as an organic product.
Wow.
Which drives me crazy.
Oh, me too. Yeah. And then, you look at our government, you think that they would, prevent that stuff from happening, but there's always loopholes that companies get around.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, corporate America, why would they do that? They're making money off of it.
Right. Tell us some of the other products you have that maybe we didn't hit so far.
Oh, well, let's see. For the people who have got sunburnt lately, I had talked about you can put the sunscreen over it, but actually what'll really help you more than anything is my healing salve. This has comfrey, mullein, and calendula. Those are 3 ingredients that are phenomenal for the skin. It also has, I use aloe vera butter in it. So you know how good aloe vera is for sunburns and things like that. And then I use, it's a T50 vitamin E. It's the purest, thickest. I mean, this vitamin E is like honey. And I use it. So that helps speed that up. So it also has just a touch of tea tree, because a lot of times, this isn't just for sunburns. It's great for sunburns, but it's good for cuts. It's good for scrapes, bug bites, rashes. For a lot of the mommies, I tell them it's kind of like an organic Neosporin. So it helps heal everything up, but you're not putting those heavy chemicals. It's got just a tad bit of an antibacterial just to be on the safe side. So we're keeping any type of infection that would get out. And yeah, so it's phenomenal. But for sunburns, actually there is a review on my website and on Facebook where a lady didn't know me, found a flyer. She's talking ginger, redhead lady. Okay. Her and her husband from lower lands comes up here to Colorado to go kayaking. Had sunscreen on, but they were out in their shorts and everything. This lady, I swear, could have very easily had 1st or 2nd degree burns. She called me up, walked into the apothecary, and I looked at her and went, "Oh, honey." It was bad. She was laying cold rags on her thighs. She was burnt so bad. And I told her, I said, "Well, okay, let's try this." And I took the healing salve and I had her put just a little bit on her leg to see. It took the sting out almost immediately. So, she bought the healing salve, bought the rosemary lavender lotion, because rosemary is because we not only do we need to heal, but you got to moisturize that skin too, because that sun just sucks all the moisture out of it. You don't want a blister. Of course, I didn't know. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this lady's gonna blister and peel, because she was so red. It was just horrible. But anyway, about a month later, I get this massive review on my Facebook page praising me, praising everything, going, "Oh my God, I can't believe it. My husband, who was skeptical, didn't do what she recommended. He peeled all over. The only place she peeled was on her bikini line. That was it. She did not peel. She didn't do any of that." And then sent me a picture of when she was in the car where we had put the healing salve just on where her finger was. It's like night and day. You can see the finger mark in the middle of the top of her thigh where the redness was gone. Blew me away. I mean, I knew it was good, but when you really put it to that test, it surprises me sometimes on how well these herbals and the combinations really do work.
Yeah, yeah, and are safe. Oh, and there's that.
Right. Yeah, to me, it's a no-brainer. But
yes, I'm right there with you. And same thing with everything that you sell. What's your website, by the way, Tammie?
It's Oyate Herbals. That's OYATEHERBALS.com.
When is the full skincare line coming out?
Well, I kind of have a full skincare line. I'm pretty close.
Maybe I'm missing something here.
Yeah,
okay.
I do have an anti-aging wrinkle cream. I have 18 different lotions that are either infused lotions or that are also added with essential oils. We've got all of the aromatherapy sprays.
Sure.
So yeah, I do have. I make foaming bath salts. I do body scrubs, and I also have soaps. So I do have a bath and body care.
I was not aware. And the anti-aging cream, we have literally like 20 seconds left. But tell us about that.
Oh, the anti-aging cream is amazing. It puts back all of the lost collagens from the sun. It has rose hips and raspberry seed oils. It has all different types of essential oils and vitamin E's. And yeah, it's really, really nice. I also have a rose water witch hazel toner that you can, my regimen, I mean, I'm not young. I've been down the road. I mean, I've got 40 years experience, but people look at me and go, "What do you do?" I'm like, Siberian sage soap, rosewater witch hazel toner, and anti-aging wrinkle cream. That's my regimen.
Wow. And you have a toner
it's a simple
too.
thing. Yeah.
You know what? When I went to your website, I was looking for the sprays, the stress relief. I didn't look at that. So yeah, definitely going to check that out. One more time.
We got soaps. We're really a full apothecary. You name it, I have it. Yeah.
Or you can make it if somebody's looking for something for maybe a.
Oh yeah. Do customs all the time, because a lot of people, especially as a phytotherapist, when I go through my my interviews with people, which all consultations are always free. Please get in contact with me, because I know you're going to spend the money on the herbs afterwards. So, I'm not going to charge you to talk to you.
Knowledge is power. And, even us
Yeah.
talking, that's how I've learned, there's a whole other world out there that we're not exposed to. And you're not going to find that world when you walk into CVS or Walgreens. Sorry. It's
No.
just not there.
No, you're not. You're not. And a lot of times you won't find it on the internet either. I mean, you can look a lot online, and there's a lot of good stuff out there. Just do your research. I always talk about that research, or contact somebody who knows and that's already done the research. If you don't have the time, we're here. We are out here.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Pharmaceutical grade.
Right?
I'm doing my research. I see that. That's not that sounds really good. All right. But no, you need to talk to somebody like you. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oyate herbals.com. Do I have that right?
Correct.
Awesome.
Yes.
Tammie,
Yeah.
great talking with you. I'm going to check out the website for the creams and everything. And
Awesome.
always great talking with you.
I love being here. This is great. Good talking to you too. And we will do it again next time.
We'll be trying the tincture next. It's
Yeah. Let me know how that works. I think you're really going to like it.
Definitely will. All right. We'll talk soon.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.